Y'all, and welcome back to this week's Bourbon of the Week. On this channel, together, you and I are going to try and navigate this big and confusing world of bourbon. Like many of you, I myself am a bourbon novice, so I've taken what seems to be a complex formula, and I've broken it down into three simple categories: price, taste, drinkability. I rank my bourbons on a ranking sheet so you know what to buy and what to pass on. And that's really it. Bourbon made easy. So the question is, are you ready? As you can see today, we are at Wild Turkey Distilling Company. We got the Wild Turkey right over there. And an interesting fact before we get started is that Jimmy Russell is the longest tenured master distiller in the game. Him and his son are the ones behind Wild Turkey right now, and he's been doing it since 1954. So cheers, shout out to you, Jimmy. This one's for you. And before we get started again, I do like to go over the mash bill. For this particular one bottle that we're doing today, Wild Turkey 101, we're talking 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley. I think they have a good product, but let's get the review together and see where it falls. That's right, this week we are going with the infamous Wild Turkey 101. As you all know, 101 proof Wild Turkey. I actually have my buddy get me this nice little whiskey glass set as well. So let's use this week and see how this Wild Turkey turns out. Not the greatest pop when you open it, but everybody knows Wild Turkey. Everybody's probably tried it if you're into the bourbon world, and if you're not, I recommend you get it on your shelves, just for the simple fact that Wild Turkey is the #1 name in the game, putting out lots of good bourbons. We got the Wild Turkey 101. We got the Long Branch by Matthew McConaughey. They put out a bunch of other products as well. So if you don't know about Wild Turkey, I'm sure you're going to learn about it, but everybody knows before we get started, time for the traditional sip. First of all, shout out Travis. Awesome glass. A couple other things in the whiskey set over here. It's got another glass. It's got a little ice cube thing that you can pick up your cubes with. We got the rocks as well. If you don't like to water down your whiskey, you can grab these rocks, throw them in the freezer. A couple coasters in there as well. So awesome set. Definitely going to use this when I have buddies over and I want to pour up a couple glasses for the boys. So thank you, Travis. And as for this, before we get started, actually, I want to go Bourbon Bomb right off the rip for you guys right here. Bourbon Bomb of the Week brought to you by Wild Turkey. Now, in 2016, Matthew McConaughey was brought in by Wild Turkey as a creative director, and Matthew McConaughey didn't want to stop there, so he actually brought out his own bourbon, Long Branch. We've already reviewed it. It's up near the top of the list there. Wild Turkey Long Branch, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Excellent bottle, if you ask me. Matthew McConaughey is behind the idea of this bottle, but he was actually brought in as a creative director to bring more of a woman presence into the bourbon world. I guess his good looks and charm was supposed to be Wild Turkey's way of saying, hey, drink this, women, and try what we have. And I don't know how well it worked on that front. But I can tell you one thing. They put out a good product with the Long Branch, and Wild Turkey's always going to have a good product with the 101. So cheers to you, Matthew McConaughey. So as you may or may not know, I actually did a competition to see who could get closest on price, taste, drinkability on this. You sent me in a bunch of videos. I will review them right after I do my review and see who falls closest. So make sure you stick around to see if you won. As for this, though, Wild Turkey 101, price, taste, drinkability. We're going to start with drinkability as always. This is not the greatest drinkability. 101 proof. Obviously, we got to keep that in mind. That's 50.5% alcohol by volume. So it is a little bit higher. It's one of the only 100 proofs I think we've done so far. We might have done a couple others, I forget. But for 101 proof, it should have a little bit of kick, and it does have a little bit of kick. And I don't hate the fact that it has a kick. I think this is barreled between 6, 7, and 8 years. It's a blend of those three ages of whiskey. So it's aged pretty good amount of time. 100 proof. But the interesting fact about this, 101 proof, sorry. But the interesting fact about this is actually distilled at 106 or 107 or I think maybe even 109, but somewhere right around there. So it's not distilled super high and then watered down. It's actually distilled right above what they bottle it at. So it's not bottled in bond technically. They do dilute it a little bit, but it is only distilled only a little bit over that 101 proof bottling, which I think is a cool concept. It gives it a little bit more flavor that we'll get into with taste. But as for the drinkability on this, I'm going to give this like a 7.8 on drinkability. I don't think it's the worst thing being 101 proof, but at the same time, you can definitely get a good ethanol kick out of this, which I don't mind too much because of the price and the taste on this, which we'll get into in a minute. The drinkability doesn't bother me too much on this. If you're big, I don't like any ethanol flavor, Marissa would not like this one. There's definitely an ethanol kick to it. So I think the 7.8 is a fair place to put it. That's going to bring us into taste on this. And taste, they get this. Wild Turkey, if you ask me, does one thing and one thing great on every bottle that they produce. Every one of their flavor profiles is so well done. Nothing's overwhelming the other flavors. Nothing stands out. It's not too oaky. It's not too vanilla-y. It's not too caramely. It's not too smoky, any of that. It's a great balanced flavor profile, and they do this across the line with all of their whiskeys. The Long Branch as well. I really can't talk highly enough about what these people do to make this flavor profile so consistent and so even across the board. It's a great taste. Again, 101 proof, so you get a little bit of the ethanol kick. But as for straight taste on this, I'm going to drop this in at like an 8.1 for taste, and I think it deserves to be up there. Again, it's nothing unique. It is just your typical bourbon flavors, but it is so well balanced that I really enjoy it a lot. And one of the things that Wild Turkey prides themselves on, you probably know it, I definitely already know it, is they're going to put out an affordable bottle. The Long Branch with the Matthew McConaughey is a little bit more expensive, which you're going to get just because Matthew McConaughey's name's behind it. But as for having a #1 selling bourbon and only putting a $25 price tag that we're going to get here with the Wild Turkey 101, you really can't beat it too much. You can't complain about the price. It's always going to be on the shelves. It's always going to be delicious. It's 101 proof, so even that with that higher proof and still keeping the bottle at 25 bucks, you can't complain about this price too much at all. So as for price on this, I'm going to give this an 8.4 on the price scale, which is going to break our average down to 8.1, and it's going to drop it down. I think it's 12, which isn't a terrible place to be. If you look at a lot of these scores, they're very, very close. We're talking 8.13, 8.17, so that 8.1 range is a pretty standard range for what you're going to get for a lot of these bourbons. I do find the Wild Turkey to be a more affordable bottle, but at the same time, you're not going to find anything special or unique about it. If you just want a straight bourbon to sip on, Wild Turkey 101 is the way to go. If you want something like Andre said last week that's going to get you there, Wild Turkey 101 is the one you want to sip on. It's a great flavor profile, a little heavy on the drinkability with the ethanol there, but the $25 price tag can't beat it any day of the week. So an 8.1 is where I think this deserves to fall, and it's going to put it, like I said, 12th or 14th right there on the list, behind a couple other better bottles. But I don't think, again, that you shouldn't have a bottle of the Wild Turkey 101. It's a great bottle. It's great for cold weather because of that higher proof. I love to sit out back on a nice crisp night with a bottle of Wild Turkey 101. It's great for around a fire, great for a camping trip, anything you do like that. Wild Turkey 101 is always going to be there for you. And if you don't have it on your shelves, I definitely recommend grabbing a bottle and putting it there. So let me go take a look at what you guys sent to me. I got a bunch of videos I got to get through, and we're going to see who got closest to that 8.1, and they're going to be featured on the video, so you can check out the review, and I'll get right back to you. One sec. All right, folks, so I cannot make this up. My score, 8.1. Bunch of videos, great reviews. I appreciate everybody who sent one in, but we have two videos. I'm going to show them both to you here in a second. One was an 8.2. And one was an 8.0. I was thinking, do I go Bob Barker rules and just go, shouldn't have went over and went with the 8.0? But instead, I figured they're only 1 minute videos. Let's throw them both up real quick, and you guys can see these reviews. 8.1, 8.2. I think they both gave great scores. One was the first time drinking a rye. The other one looks like they have a little bit of bourbon experience. So we'll see what they do with these and check them out.
What's up, everybody? Doing a quick review on Wild Turkey 101 for Lights Out. So price-wise, $21.99 I think I paid for this. Good price. Not a big rye guy. This is actually going to be my first rye. So price-wise, I would give it 8.2. Taste, a little heavy on the ethanol, I think. But not bad for not being a rye guy. For me, 7.8. And drinkability, I'd give it a 7.9, maybe an 8.0. So thanks again. Enjoy.
Bourbon of the week, Wild Turkey 101. I am Dave. Let's see if I can match Chris's scores. One sip, everybody knows the rules. Just kidding. Time for the traditional sip. Right off the bat, really smooth. A little bit of burn going down. Not too bad. It's a higher proof. You expect that. Drinkability, 8.5. Taste, it's kind of plain. You get a little bit of that pepper on the back end from the high rye. I know how Chris feels about those. 7.9. Price was good, $23.99 I think on sale. We're going to go 8.2 on that. Put them all together. There's your score. Thank you for having me. Hope I did well. Cheers.
So there you have it, 2 great reviews. I appreciate you guys for getting me the videos in. I appreciate everybody else for sending me a video. If you didn't win this week, make sure you stick around. Make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe. We're gonna be doing stuff like this all the time. So make sure you tell your friends about this. Let's get to 250 subscribers. But in the meantime, please don't drink and drive. Drink responsibly, and as always, wash your hands. Pandemic ain't over, y'all. Cheers.